Hey guys, Hope here. Today I wanted to talk about my condition. So, a lot of you guys may not see it, but it technically is a condition. I have chronic ear infections. Basically what that means is that no matter what, you have reoccurring ear infections. And I have that. I've had multiple surgeries on my ear. I've had, basically, the multiple surgeries were tubes. I've had infections since I was around 8 or 18 months. And ever since then, the infections are reoccurring. And, it's not just casual swimmer's ear, because I will get in the middle of winter. And, I've had so many ear infections, gone to so many ENTs. Having chronic ear infections is something very hard to deal with. So, my first ever ENT was a male. We'll call him Dr. T. He was old. He was an old man. He was very rough with me. I was maybe 5 or maybe 6 when I saw him. I was really young, and, because of that, and because I was a little girl and I saw him as a man, just a man, I became very afraid of male ENTs and male doctors in general. So, then years flew by, and then I got to my next ENT. We'll call her Dr. P. Dr. P was very nice. She was very gentle with me, and in the time where I didn't have an ENT, I was constantly going to the doctors, getting ear drops, and basically the ear drops the doctors give you is a technical eye drop, and then they had to step it up to actual ear drops. When I saw her, it was before, probably when I was 9 and 10. That was when I found out I had to have a surgery on my ear again. This surgery would be closing the holes in my ears. Now basically, these are normal holes, but what happened was that when the tubes were placed in my ears to help get all the drainage out, the tubes, when they finally came out for the last time, they didn't close. The holes deep in my ear did not close. So, we found out that I just had to get that surgery, which is one surgery. And then they wanted me to stay clear for 6 months, which is nearly impossible for my ears. What has to happen with my ears is that I can manage to only stay clear and not have an ear infection for maybe a month and a half. Then, when I turned 14, they finally gave another option. This would mean it would be a second add-on to the surgery, so technically 2 surgeries. Basically, I got an X-ray, an ET scan, I think it's what they call it, and they looked behind the bone, right here for my ear. Turns out the bone behind my ear has piles of fluid, and that means they're gonna actually have to go behind the ear, cut and suction the liquid out of the ear, and then they're gonna have to get that done. And I don't know if and then I'd have to get another surgery where they would actually close the holes. And once again, that would take 6 months to dry, and we never could manage that. I felt helpless. We were helpless. And then Dr. P finally sent me off to someone who does that kind of surgery, because she didn't do the surgeries that I needed. And this lady, at first I was fine, but then she was very rough with me and my ears. So basically, I actually have pictures that I'll show. I'll put them up somewhere while I'm talking about her. So, basically in the room, we're talking, and then I got sent to another room where she would like take a little telescope in my ear, and she got to suction out certain things, and then she had to put a blue or a purple type of eardrop in my ear. I was scared. I was nervous. You know, no one can touch my ears beside my mother anymore, and it is awful because I'm like so sensitive with my ears over the years, because like one wrong thing and I get an infection. One wrong move and I feel like someone's going to just completely obliterate my ear. So, you know, when she did that, I was screaming and crying because it hurt. Not only did it hurt, but, you know, I was extremely nervous. And when it comes to my ears and a new ENT, I freaked out. So, she did that to both my ears. By the time that was all done, she had put cotton balls in my ears. My ears were completely blue and purplish on the inside. I was told that I have to get this done every 2 weeks, like once every 2 weeks, and I was panicked. I was crying. I felt like I could not breathe. I was having a full-blown panic attack in the doctor's office. I was screaming, crying. When I came out, a parent actually looked at me in disapproval, because I am a 14-year-old girl who can't handle that kind of stuff, because I've been suffering from chronic ear infections pretty much my entire life. As long as I can remember, I've always had ear infections, and, you know, they held me back, because I could never go underwater. I've had special earplugs made just for me to fit and mold my ear, but they didn't even work. I've had to use constant earplugs my entire life whenever I wanted to go underwater. I had to get this headband that was like extremely tight, and it pulls your ears down to here, and it's supposed to help, but that also did not help. I still got water in my ear, and the water from pools actually made my infection worse. So, you know, we were at a loss, kind of. Well, I was completely. I had no hope. And over the years, I've had to get hearing tests done, because I actually am losing my hearing from the more damage that is caused by my ears. Thankfully, I have not lost a lot, but I do have to get hearing tests done every 6 months to make sure that my hearing is not drastically moving downwards. So, you know, and by this time, that appointment, everything was packed, and we were going to be coming here soon. So when we moved here, I had to go to the doctors and, you know, normal stuff. I checked my ears, and I did have a really bad ear infection. I had a double ear infection, and, you know, I got a eardrop, and then I finally saw my new ENT. We'll call him Dr. H. When he walked in the room, I panicked. I have not had a male ENT or a male doctor in so long, because of how emotionally traumatized I was when I was 4 or 5 or 6. Because that doctor was rough with me. He yelled at me, and he just kept sticking things in my ear without even telling me what was going to do. It was awful. I cried and cried, and I begged not to see him, and then that was the final straw, because I actually begged my parents not to let me see that doctor again, which is Dr. T. So, based on that trauma I had from Dr. T, I kind of put it on him, and he felt really bad. So, he wasn't able to do much the first appointment. And then by the second appointment, I calmed down a little, because I realized he was very gentle with me. And my dad did tell him about the prior things that had happened. So he was especially gentle, kind, and he did a culture of my ear. Basically what a culture is like taking something like a little cotton swab, rubbing it on the inside of the ear, and then sending it off to a test lab to see if there's anything in the actual fluid of the ear. I wasn't expecting anything to come back, but something did. I have 4 different bacteria in my ear currently causing a massive ear infection. And the ear drops I was actually taking for the ones I'm taking currently were only going to kill one of that bacteria. That means I would have had 3 left and still a really bad ear infection. So I was told I have to have a special ear drop made just for me, which is actually what's in here. It reeks. Normally ear drops are not yellow, but they actually had to combine 4 different ear drops. So yeah, I had special ear drops made for me, and I just started taking them today. When I got done with it, it actually pulled some of the infection out, and my ears reek, like I can smell it from here. Sorry, I had to pause. My little sister walked in my room. But yeah, it pulled out some of the infection. It reeks really badly, like I can actually smell it, and it's awful. So now I'm going to talk about the effects of how this has made me feel. Basically, because of this, I've actually felt very different from a lot of kids, because, you know, from a young age, I lost hearing, and it was awful because my teacher got really mad at me, and they actually had a conference with my mother, and then my mother actually had to tell them that I have really bad ear problems. So if I start raising my voice a little, it's because I can't hear myself. When I talk, like, my voice was normally not like this. It actually was a lot softer, but because of how bad my ear infections have gotten and how much it's deteriorated my hearing, I speak louder to hear myself. And when I have really bad ear infections, sometimes I actually have to scream to hear myself. And I won't be able to hear anything from far away, so like I'll actually have to be like really up close to the person to be able to hear. But, you know, I remember times where like I was playing with friends at recess, and they'd always be like, "What's that smell?" And I knew instantly it was my ears. Because when my ears have a really bad ear infection, there is a really bad smell that comes out. And even with ear drops, sometimes the smell still lingers, and it is awful. I always went home crying because I felt so bad. I didn't know how to control it. I don't know. You know, I felt really hopeless. I still feel really hopeless. And, you know, talking with this new doctor, Dr. H, I actually found out there might be 3 surgeries I need to get. Another surgery that he is thinking is that there's a piece of excess skin that they will have to remove in my ear, which is also which can also be a reason for my ear infections. He said that's actually not as common, but for my type right now, it might be very common in what's going on in my ear. I know there are other kids who suffer from it like I do, and, you know, I've never actually personally met anyone who has, but having a lot of ear surgeries and then finding out you have to have 2 to 3 more is awful. Now, there is a chance where I might not have to actually have the 3rd surgery, and it'll only be 2, but still, it is terrifying because I am very sensitive with my ears. I don't let my dad touch it. I can't let my little sister near it. I don't let any family member near it. The only person I've ever let near my ears, not even a doctor, can really touch my ears. My mom actually has to hold my hand because I get so terrified. She actually won't kind of hold my hand. What she does is she just tells me like it's okay, but it's kind of like it feels like it's holding my hand because it's comforting. And, you know, it's hard for me, especially to do that kind of stuff. And I'm so shocked I've even let him touch my ear because I don't even let my dad, because of what my First Ever Ent did to my ears. I will keep update with this ear journey. I finally felt kind of obligated to talk about it because, I feel like I shouldn't be ashamed of something that I can't control. And honestly, yeah, it's hard and it's awful because I don't know what to do. But I'm actually might get the chance to get those surgeries and be able to not have an ear infection. And I might get to live what a lot of people say is a normal kid's life. Because, they're able to, every kid gets ear infections, but so many of them, they don't have constant ear infections. They don't get ear infections in the winter from literally just sitting and doing nothing other than going in school, sleeping. They don't do that. They don't have to have that constant pains in their ear. They don't have to have so many doctor's appointments for their ears, and that's what the normal kind of standard life is for a child. And I've always wanted that, because it's like these ear infections have held me back, because I lose my hearing. I apologize to people so much, because I sometimes I really struggle to hear a lot. And I do get smells that linger from my ear, and we've done so much we can to try and stop it, but it's like impossible. So I decided to open up about it. Please do not judge, because this is something very serious and very close to me personally. But I hope this does reach out to people, and I hope some other kids are able to come forward, or some other adults who have the same thing. I hope they're going to be able to come forward and share their journey. Yeah. Alright guys, thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day or night, and I'll see you guys next time I update.